Welcome, dear viewers, to the Advance Impact Legacy Show. I'm super excited today because I've got a very, very special guest indeed that we're going to be interviewing, learning from, and also drawing from his very, very rich journey of experience. Okay, we only bring you the best. The Advance Impact Legacy Show is absolutely designed to give you the inspiration, but also some of the principles and strategies that will inspire you to take dominion, to advance in your sphere of influence and in your calling. So I'm going to just introduce my guest and then we are going to bring him in. I am very, very honored to have the one and only Mr. Rune Evensen on the call today. Now you're going to be hearing from Rune, but just so that you understand, who he is, what he's about, what he does. Rune is a highly sought after consultant in the alternative fintech world, you could say. So for those of you that are not so au fait with crypto and DeFi, Rune is one of the top 5 people in that realm. He's worked extremely hard. He's had a back story of success through various ventures, made over $30 million and probably a lot more, in the industry of networking, built up his business, acumen and muscles and network, and launched one of the most successful exchanges at the beginning of the whole crypto sort of DeFi space. Rune is a keynote speaker. He's a person that mobilizes, impacts leaders in business all around the world. He's an authority when it comes to trading and financials, and he's also regularly sought after to advise on regulation for a number of governments in a number of jurisdictions around the world. So without further ado, I'm going to bring our guest on, Mr. Rune Evensen. Rune, how are you?
I am good, Matt. Thank you for a fantastic introduction there.
I hope it was okay. There's so much I could say about you, but it's just honing it down into those few minutes, which I think is really, really important indeed. So, Rune, thank you first of all for agreeing to join us. I know your schedule at the moment is extremely busy, and I also know
my pleasure to be here. I watched your shows, and I must say there are some big shoes to fill there to coming after so many fantastic guests that you have had on your show. So it's my privilege to be here.
No, we really, really appreciate that. And I also know you've got a new puppy, which any of you that have had a puppy, that's a full-time job in itself, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's quiet on the floor here now, so we have been out walking for 2 hours, and he's chilling. So giving me the space to do this session.
Excellent. Well, we really appreciate that. So, Rune, I always like to start with, where are you from? Where did you grow up? What were those early sort of childhood defining moments, possibly? What did your parents do? And where did you start from? Could you sort of walk the viewers through that?
Oh, yeah, that's a long and bumpy road. My life have been pretty much a roller coaster. Of course, the ups are in a roller coaster, the downs are more fun. But when you have a life as a roller coaster, it's actually the ups that are the most thrilling. So they are more slow when it comes to a theme park. But I was born in a small town on the southwest coast of Norway called Haugesund, population of about 30,000 people. My parents been working their regular jobs, the 9-to-5s, prioritizing actually to have a good home. They never prioritized the things outside their home, right? So while my father was driving a rusty car, the neighbors bought a brand new Volvo, but inside the house we had like the latest in VCR and all those things that the others didn't have. So they always prioritized to have it nice and comfy at home, very down to earth, very hardworking and stuff. So I've been always an adventurer. So I was seeking opportunities here and there. So, I mean, some might say that I was the black sheep of the family.
Okay.
I dropped out of school at around 15 and started to work. And of course, that is not something I recommend, but it is part of my story. I actually picked it up again later. I started several businesses. I had a pool hall. I was selling mattresses and fabrics for several years and did furniture upholstery. And then I also started as a floor specialist. I did tiles and carpets and stuff like this. And that is basically what led me up to where we are today. Because if we do fast forward some years, I had my own company, had some employees. We were doing okay, had company car, had private car. I was the owner of the company, had a nice house, had a puppet back then as well, and had my firstborn on the way.
Right.
And we started to get more and more jobs from bigger contractors. So we sort of became a subcontractor, right? And then that means that I could actually leverage my staff, right? I rent them out to the bigger firms and they have a completely different rates. And then you're actually leveraging other people's time, which also is something that is a good skill to have when you move over to network marketing.
Absolutely.
But of course, working for others have its risk. So we started to get a lot of assignment in the North Sea on the oil rigs, right?
Oh, wow.
And those jobs paid actually very, very well. Of course, I had to increase the pay a lot for my workers as well. And we were like one out of many small subcontractors under a bigger company. So I had to send my staff, they need to go through professional training to enter the oil rigs in North Sea, which is also costly. But then I started to send them out. We had good jobs out there. And then I sent the invoices for my team, and the big contractor didn't pay.
Oh, surprise.
And they said, hang in there. Once we finish this job, there is a huge bonus for everyone. And it's nothing to worry about. It is just a tight liquidity squeeze. And so month one became month two and became month three, right? And I kept on paying the salary to my staff out of my own money because this was basically the only client we had. And at the end of the road, the big contractor declared himself bankrupt. So then I was at sort of a tough situation because I had two choices: pay my staff or pay the government, right? Because we have something that is called VAT on all your earnings. And even if I sent the invoices, there is still VAT on them, even if I didn't get paid. So the government still wanted their pay. And of course, my workers wanted their pay. So I took an executive decision and I paid my staff.
Wow. Good for you.
And not the government. And I'm not so sure in hindsight if that is a smart thing to do, but I think it was the ethical thing to do. So it ended up by myself having to declare bankruptcy.
Oh, wow.
Right? So suddenly, overnight, house gone, cars gone, credit cards frozen, etc. And I had at that time I had a kid. Relationship was over, so I was basically a single dad. So it was kind of tough. All I had, no access to bank accounts or anything. I had about 2,000 Norwegian kroner, which is like 200 pounds in my pockets. And that was it. That was it. I had touched base on network marketing a couple years before, back in '98, before my son was born. But that was more like I was forced into it. I criticized the presenter and didn't believe in the business model and was basically asked to leave the room.
Oh, really?
And then come back in again at the end so I could pay. Right? So we ended up buying a triple pack of some potion and lotion and milkshakes and stuff like this. But it turned out I kept the products longer than I kept the relationship. So
Yeah.
But then back again to the bankruptcy and my 200 pounds in my pocket. A friend of mine calls, and the typical invite, Rune, long time, how are you? Can you stop by for a cup of coffee? Is Tuesday or Thursday best for you? Should we say 5 or 8? Right? Always two options and two options. So I can't say no, right? Okay, and I asked, what is this? No, I can't explain it over the phone. You have to come and see it, right? But it is an opportunity where you can make some money. And I mean, I only had 200 pounds. So I couldn't afford to say no. I came there. I got the worst presentation I've ever seen in network marketing, but he had this PowerPoint on his computer. And after a while, I told him, step aside. Let me have a look, right? So I went through slide by slide and I asked, is there any more material here? And he said, yeah, the top earner, the guy that is basically number one in the world in this company, he had made a 26-page manual on how to do this business. Okay, give me that manual, print it out for me. And basically it cost 1,500 Norwegian kroner to join. So that's 150 pounds. Right. I only had 200 pounds and I was a single dad.
Yeah.
So, but I looked at it. I moved the other guy away, and after studying it, reading through the manual and stuff, and said, I have no choice. I can't afford to say no. So I decided, okay, I go in. Now I had 500 Norwegian left. I spent 200 on an ad in a newspaper on business presentation, and I borrowed the venue from a friend of mine. And it turned out that 70 people showed up.
Wow.
I actually signed up 64 of them.
Oh my gosh.
And I made about 500, 600, 700 Swiss franc in my first week. So which was equal to the 2,000-3,000 Norwegian I had. So I earned my money back and everything. And I really studied this manual. So, and I think that is a trait of mine. I'm not an expert of anything, but if I like something, I like to dive deep. I like to know. I want to become a go-to source if people wonder. So I didn't build a big team in that company. I think overall I had a team of about 200 people or so. Okay. Made a couple of thousand Swiss franc, which was 10 times more than I had when I went in.
Yeah.
But I did support crossline, upline, downline. I studied the 26-page manual till I knew it by heart. You could just ask me what is at the bottom of page 14, and I could say it, right? So and then I started to travel a bit and do presentations. Once I traveled to Sweden, which is like 600 kilometers away from me to Gothenburg, and did a presentation for almost 100 people where nobody was in my team.
Wow.
It was 100% crossline, right?
Yeah.
And of course, this got picked up and everybody was asking me questions and they thought I was everybody's upline and stuff like this. So maybe I got a higher star based on my support than my income check, right? Yeah. Because there was no sync between the two at all, right? But what I didn't know was that this company had basically already peaked. It was online based company. It had about 500,000 members of an online based company back in 2002. Okay. This was unheard of. But it turned out that in my hometown, everybody either was in or they had no interest, right? So, but my status as knowledge-wise led me to be headhunted for another company.
Right.
Another company that was about to start up a few months down the road. So they contacted me. They flew me down to Denmark to meet with the owners, etc. And they told me, this is still in 2002. They said that we want you to be number one for the Scandinavian market, open up the market for us. And then they asked me, we will have a pre-launch month in December. how many people do you think you can sign up in December? And I mean, I knew that they looked at me way higher than I was. My entire team in the previous company was about 200, but they flew me down. They flew me down there. They put expensive wine and cigars and stuff on the table.
As they do.
Yeah. So I said, no, I think I can do 1,000 in a month. Okay. They liked what they heard, and we got the deal. The website was not up. There was no payment channel or anything. So I had to collect cash and do wire transfer to them.
Ground floor, hey?
The short story there is end of December, in my team, there was 1,013 people. So I hit the mark.
Delivered.
Yes. But what I did, I connected with a couple of people in my hometown, and they started in my one leg. And we decided we focus everything on them.
Wow.
Right? Again, I didn't focus on my own income, although I needed it probably more than them. So in 1 month, I had 1,000 people in one leg, and I had 13 people in my other leg.
Wow.
So when January came and the company launched, my number one in my strong leg, he earned 5 times more than me. Wow. Because my income was only matching bonus, right? Yeah. But he had binary basically balanced. But that was cool, and I think that is also a lesson for those that are not into binaries. That it doesn't matter if you come first or second or third. It doesn't really matter. It is how you build your team and how balanced the teams are. But in my other leg, that was more like when I came home in the evenings after doing meetups, hotel meetups, cafe meetups and stuff for my strong leg team. Then I was already then playing social media. And this was basically before Facebook. I used something called Rise. And other channels, right? MySpace and stuff like this. And from there, I connected with a guy from Denmark and a guy from the Faroe Islands and stuff like this. And then there started to pop up volume below them. And I thought I could never overtake my strong leg in volume. There was no way I could do that. And then one of the Danish guy, he was an online marketer. He helped everybody setting up their Rise page and stuff. And one day he sponsored a guy in Singapore.
Okay.
And suddenly 5, 6, 7, 8 signups came in from Singapore. And I was thinking, wow, I'm in Asia now. I've never been to Asia whatsoever. But it turned out this Danish guy, he was only behind his computer in Denmark. He never left the computer.
Wow.
Right. And in Singapore, it was all about one-to-one meetings over a cup of coffee, drawing the circles and everything. So it's another lesson that sometimes you need to look for key people in your organization, and you have to be willing to bypass those in between if they are not willing to do the work. Exactly. Because it doesn't matter in a binary if they are in your 10th level or 20th level. The volume equals the same. Maybe less matching bonus, but the volume, the binary, still matches the same. I had never set my foot in Asia at the time, but I contacted my Danish guy and I asked, can I have the contact details for your Singapore guys? And he gave it to me, and I contacted the Singaporeans, and I just asked them. This is based on 10 people signing up, 10 people, right? So I asked them, do you think it will help if I come down to Singapore and do some meetings with you guys? And they said, of course it will, right? And then I started. I went down to Singapore, spent 2 weeks doing one-on-one meeting, being dragged from hotel to hotel to hotel, down here, 30 degrees. I was in a suit and tie every single day.
First time in Asia, hey? Wow.
Yeah. Sweating my butt off and it was crazy, right? And always it was meeting, and everybody, it was always one-on-one, because everybody was scared. It's a bit of the Asian culture. You don't want to mix the teams, especially in a young company, because they pitch them over to this line and that line. Everybody was so protective. So, but it went well. We got more sign-ups. I went back to Norway, followed up there, did more meetings, and then basically I ended up going to Singapore almost every second month for almost 2 years, right? But during this time, I actually went back to school as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So during the first year, I actually took the 3 years of college. I compressed it into 1 year.
Wow.
So I finished college in 1 year while I was doing part-time network marketing,
Wow.
right? And then from there, I went on to university to study business economy and marketing. In hindsight, maybe it would have been good to study that before I started my own business and not after. But well, it is what it is, right? So I was a part-time student, and in a university, you don't have to attend all the time, right? You go just to listen in to one speaker. You sit in a big auditorium there, and nobody knows if you are there or not, right? But I was so busy traveling, and year one went by, and I still showed up, paid the semester fee for the university in year two. But my fellow classmates, they asked me, why did you come back for year two? You didn't do the exams for year one. You won't get any diploma. Yeah, but I said, I'm not here for a diploma. I'm already making more money than the professor. I'm here to learn something, right? This is marketing and economy. So I didn't care about the paper at all. But of course, with this, when you start building in Asia, you quickly get to learn that for them to join you, they need to see you up there, right? In the Scandinavian and the European way, it's more of a humble way of doing your marketing. I could drive across the country in Norway. I could sleep on my partner's couch the night before, and then we did a meeting on budget and everything. But in Asia, if you don't smell money, they will not join you, because they are thinking, how can I become rich if my upline is not rich, right? So of course that added a big burn rate to it, because flying down to Asia every 2 months, staying in 5-star hotels, entertaining the leaders, etc. So I think that was my first time experiencing that just because you have $1 million, you're not a millionaire. You need to adapt the millionaire mindsets.
Okay.
Right? So actually, during this company, it was my first 7-figure income.
Nice.
Actually, back in 2004. But I think I spent more on the way to get there.
I can imagine.
So I didn't end up, but it became fancy. We did the cruises in the Caribbean as rewards. We brought Tim Sales with us for a week.
Tim Sales. I've done some of his stuff.
In the Caribbean. A lot of fantastic people. Some of them I'm in good contact with today. Some of them are with us in my current venture. So I've known them for so long. But also there, as many other things started to go a little bit down. The company started to pivot. The compensation plan did some overpaying, and they started to change over, replace some people in the management, and it basically lasted till out in 2006 before they sort of reshaped and relaunched with a different kind of platform, and that wasn't really for me. So I pulled back. I took sort of a little bit of a sabbatical. When I actually back to doing some floors and stuff on my spare time, and it turned out that I didn't have all that much savings, although I had 4 good years of earnings. It was the high life. Then my son was happy with the Mercedes convertible and you name it, right? We were living the life there. And then from my small hometown back again. And then I touched base on a few product-based companies.
Okay.
Just tried to figure out some different models. I joined a German company, PM International. I have a good product line called Fitline. I know we have some members that are part of that as well as our current one. But I wanted to try something different, so I actually rented a store in downtown in my city, and I set up the products on shelves. So instead of
Nice.
doing home
Yeah.
parties, I tried to do it like, because it is a big area with only one small city. So my model was that don't pitch this as network marketing at all, right?
Yeah.
Just keep it as a regular shop. But then I could tell people that, okay, the product costs this much in my store, but if you sign up for having the product delivered to you every month, then you will actually save so and so much, right? So actually, without them knowing, I signed them up as a customer in my network marketing company, right? So and also during these years, not to forget, while I was traveling so much to Asia, I also got married.
Okay.
So and in 2006, then I moved to China, lived
Wow.
there for a while. This was just by the ending of that company. So I lived there.
How, just to cut in for a moment, because I find it fascinating being a person who's built internationally through different cultures. If people haven't done that, then there are a lot of rude awakenings, a lot of surprises when you're going into different cultures. And I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, but from someone from a small town in Norway, Scandinavia, to go to the Far East, I mean, that's a big stretch in terms of culture, right? So
Absolutely.
how did you navigate all of that? I mean, were you a natural, or did you just learn as you
Yeah,
went?
I think I have to say that I was a natural,
Okay.
because I think I left my small town at home.
Right.
Right? You imagine Singapore is a country, but it's also only one city,
It's a city.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it is a city state, and you're coming down here to one city that is the same population as the entire country that you come from, right? Norway. They have the same population, but Norway is 500 times bigger an area. So of course it's huge. It was fascinating. It was overwhelming. All the structure, the houses. There lived more
Yeah.
people in one building that there lived in my hometown, right? So it's crazy. And then I go from there to moving to China, to a city with 15, 20 million people in it, right?
Huge.
No, normally for me in Norway, I have to drive 3 hours to come to the next small town. There, I could drive for 3 hours, and I was still in town, right? So yes, it was overwhelming, absolutely. So, but we ended up living in China for approximately 8 months, I think, and then we decided to give Norway a try. So moved back with my son and my wife at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and back to Norway. And while I was in Norway, I was approached by a company called Agile,
Oh yeah.
and they were looking to open up more of the Scandinavian markets. They were already available in Sweden, but not in
They had
Norway.
the little gel packets,
The small gel packs,
like
yes.
toothpaste,
So,
yeah, that were yeah. I had a few friends in Agile. I
yeah,
didn't.
absolutely. I like the products, and I was on a lot of calls then with Anne and David Feinstein. They were teammates of Randy Gage, right?
Huge.
Also at the stage, Eric Worre was working with Agile.
Yes.
Randy Schrader was working with Agile. So we had a lot of top-notch people in
High level
Agile. Right?
trainings and yeah.
Yes, the training. So we did webinars weekly there, and I quickly became a speaker as well in Agile, hosting a lot of the conference calls where I had the Feinsteins and Gage and stuff as guest speakers. And but there also it was Agile is from Utah, right?
Oh
Run
yeah.
by Mormons, and
I've had
they
my own experiences with Utah. So
yes, right, and they don't like to outsource anything to anyone outside the family, right?
yeah,
Companies are
exactly.
very often family driven, and it is their way. I
Yeah.
offered myself. I had the facilities because I had my store, right, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I said I have logistics, I have warehouse, and everything. I can be your country manager in Norway. I can work with the FDA to get the products approved and everything. But they turned that down and said, no, we can handle this. We can handle this from Utah, right? Little Norway. They hardly knew that Norway was not part of EU. Right? So different tax laws, different import laws, different VAT and everything. So it started messing up my team. In the beginning, before we had product approval, I started to build a team in Norway, had all the products shipped to Sweden. I drove over to Sweden in a van every month to pick up the products, and then I shipped it internally in Norway. Then we got product approval for a couple of the products, but DHL messed up the VAT. It should have been 12%. They charged 25%. Then it took 3 months to refund. I had basically 100% of my team on monthly auto ship, but when the refund took so long time, they went off auto ship because they didn't want to build on this error. I contacted Utah again, and they said, now we have fixed it. I got back in touch with my team, got everybody back on auto ship again, and it turned out it was not fixed. It was still double VAT, and then everybody off auto ship again. Few more months working with Utah, and they said now it's fixed. And we did some test shipments and stuff, and it wasn't fixed, right? So I just had to. I rebuilt my team 3 times over a very short span. I attended the Agile World.
Yeah,
I attended the Agile World in Utah 2008. I spoke to Glenn Jensen and the management team and everyone there, and I said, I mean, this is just not working for me. If you guys can't outsource and let us handle things in Norway that knows Norway, I can't rebuild my team every 2-3 months. So I stopped there, and then now we should be around 2009. Another fun journey started. I remember it as it was yesterday. Early morning on a Sunday morning, my phone beeps.
I just love the way you tell the story, Rune. I'm getting so drawn in.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. It was a Sunday morning, and I mean, it's not my preferred time to be disturbed, but a friend of mine from Sweden sent me a text message. Can I send you something, Rune? And I said, sure, send it to me, right? Here's my email. And I opened up a PowerPoint and I looked at it, and it was something very new. It was online based, and I was thinking, okay, I have been out of the online based business now for 3 years, doing physical products and stuff like this. And is the timing right to come to the market with a concept like this? Then I looked at the compensation plan, and it was a uni level. And I was thinking, this concept is perfect for Asia, but my Asia team don't like unilevel. They like binary, right? I got in touch with a good friend of mine down in Malaysia that became my power guy in the previous company, right? So we can go back again there to the previous company. My small leg, the one with 13 people in, actually it overtook the strong leg. It overtook the strong leg.
They do.
Yeah, by building a team of about 2,500 in Singapore, about 6,000 in Malaysia, and going into Brunei and stuff. And somewhere down the line there, in my 6th or 7th level, popped up one guy that just clicked with me instantly, right? So, and we ended up building together, traveling all over the place. And that was how that weak leg overtook the strong leg, right? So then back again to 2009, I was sitting with this plan. And after I studied the plan, I replied to the guy that sent it to me. And I said, get me in touch with the owners. I need a meeting, right? Monday morning comes with a reply. Can you be in Oslo on Tuesday? Right? That's about 500 kilometers away from me.
Okay.
Yeah. And I said, yes, I can be there. And then they replied, no worries. Upon your arrival, we will refund your plane tickets. Okay, that's made the decision even easier, right? So I flew over there, had a meeting at the airport. So never left the airport, actually. Was sitting for some hours there. And I said, I have looked at the concepts. I mean, I've been 48 hours since I got info of the project. Right there, I'm sitting with a meeting, and I said, we need Asia. We need Asia in on this, but they are not going for a uni level. Then we agreed actually that the company asked me to do a binary, and they said that okay, we will stay with the uni level part in Europe, and then we open up a binary, but going back to the same backbone of the business, all the same products and everything, but you build a binary in Asia.
Wow.
Okay, never heard of that being done before. We flew up a couple of my Asians for a meeting in Stockholm. They liked it a lot. And then we were basically ready to go get Asia. And wondering how we should do this. Now we had two websites, one with binary, one with Unilevel. And I asked the company, I was a member of the company, and they said, no, here is what we do. Rune, you go to Hong Kong. We give you a budget of $50,000, right? You go down there and you set up the business. You meet with the leaders, organize some meetings, and then we take it from there. So I still remember on 2nd of August in 2009, I jumped on a plane, flew down to Hong Kong with the return tickets 2 weeks later, right? Started to do meetings, getting closer and closer to my return flight, calling back to Norway. I'm sorry, I have to delay my flights another 2 weeks because business is picking up here. 2 weeks went, another phone call. I have to delay my flights, right? This started on 2nd of November. I came home on the 23rd of December to celebrate Christmas. And by that time, I had office, I had 12 staff, and we had done $30 million in sales in Asia.
Wow.
Right? So that was a quick 4 months by me being out on a 2-week flight. So, and from there, then Europe wanted to merge. They also wanted binary.
Of course.
They wanted to join the binaries. So we merged it all together, and it became one company with one plan. And based on the growth and the organizing of the office and staff and everything of the business in Asia, they made me the global CEO of the company.
Wow.
Although I still had a networking position in there.
Yes.
Right. So and it boomed. It boomed like crazy over a period of 18 months. I think it did closer to 1 billion euros in sales.
In 18 months.
18
That's unheard of.
Right? It was amazing. But of course, fast money in also leads to changes in lifestyle and stuff. And a lot of things happens in those years. And I was with the company from 2009 till 2013. We grew very, very big in China. China is not very favorable of MLM at all, and definitely not in binary. So the company ran into some issues there. And we actually had to pull out of that market. But then there was also, I was the CEO, but I was not like a main owner or anything. There were strong forces inside the company. I'm not pointing fingers anywhere, but there were forces. Then since we were to pull out of China, they wanted to move the headquarters back to Europe, right? Either to Germany or to London. I had my ideas that Asia was still very untapped. Markets like Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, etc. There was still a lot we could do there, even if we had to pull out. So, but they decided to pull out of Asia basically altogether and just focus on Europe, and that was not aligned with my ideas.
Yep.
So I left the company in 2013 because I preferred to stay in Singapore, and then I set up my own consultancy company here. And right, so that is when that journey started. And actually, one of the first projects I did was project of my own. So I became my own client.
I love that, becoming your own client. That's really
right. So you don't have to chase for invoices or anything, right? So
Pretty good.
now I had these ideas in my head that now everybody was on social media, right?
Yeah.
Now we're in 2013, right? You had Twitter, you had Facebook, you had all of them, right?
Yeah.
But it was still a jungle. It was still a jungle,
Oh,
right?
Wild West, yeah.
Because Twitter was undersharing, Facebook was oversharing, LinkedIn was only for professionals, etc., etc. So I came up that I wanted to do a one-stop solution for social media, right? And maybe if this was today, it would be today's metaverse,
You were
right?
before your time, Rune.
Yes, I was way before my time. So I spent a lot of money on this. Came up with a lot of ideas. We built it like a 3D model of a house on a typical English country club. The name of it was actually Sky Country Club.
Oh,
And you can imagine you're going into a 3D world. You're coming into the foyer. There is a concierge. You can go over and tap the concierge desk, and there you can book restaurants, you can book flights, you can book travels, everything that you normally do with a concierge in a 5-star hotel, right?
Wow.
You had the club room. You go in there, then you have your wall.
This was in 2014.
Yeah, the chat rooms, the wall, and everything. So
You're 7 years ahead of your time.
Yeah, club room in a country club, right?
Yeah.
Where they go in with their cigars. You can listen to music there.
Yeah.
I had the billiard room. That was our gaming room. So there we had a lot of online games, arcade games. We paid $250,000 to white label the biggest golf simulator online at the time. So you could actually click on the back door, and you actually saw the greens in the 3D. You saw the greens, but if you tapped there, you actually came into the game. We had mahjong, also multiplayer game with money prizes and stuff. That was $50,000 for the white label solution. So we did that for the China market, golf for the global market. We even did Tongit, which is a popular game for the Philippines, etc. We built all of that into the gaming room.
I think I saw this. I think I saw this around 2014.
Yeah, and then we made a cinema room, and in there you were supposed to have like live streaming, more like a YouTube channel. You could watch TV shows. I actually made an agreement with Liverpool FC in 2015 because they had their 10-year anniversary for the Magical Night in Istanbul. That was hosted in Echo Arena in Liverpool with 10,000 people. I was supposed to live stream that on my platform. And we started to sell tickets and everything. We had giveaways of signed shirts on a weekly basis and stuff like this. But the tech was not, the tech was fantastic, but it was so heavy.
Yeah.
Every little thing you wanted to change in 3D rendering and stuff back then, one little thing was one full day of 3D rendering, and it was hundreds and hundreds of megabytes and gigabytes. So although we were working out of Singapore, we couldn't open the website in Malaysia.
Wow.
Right? So, but with this, we had our thought was to have an in-house credit, right? I was not into crypto or anything yet. I didn't know about that when I started to build this. But some people asked me, "Have you looked at Bitcoin?" Right? This was like 2013. And I said, no, I haven't looked at that. We will build like an in-house credit, sort of like Facebook credits.
Tokens,
yeah, just virtual tokens. And we looked at it, and more people actually started to ask me, have you looked at cryptocurrency? This could be a good use case for cryptocurrency. And then at the end, I actually started to dive more into cryptocurrency. Now we're in 2015, started to look at that. And it was a jungle again.
Oh, gosh.
Right? Here Rune comes into the jungle again, right? And the interest peaked, and that means I dive in, right?
Yeah, straight in.
So I saw that, there are like wallets for different chains. You needed to download, like take a day to download a Bitcoin wallet because you had to download the whole node, every single transaction from day one. To have a Bitcoin wallet. The same with Ethereum when that came and stuff. So it was like a jungle of wallets, and then there were some exchanges, but you didn't know which one was good, which one was bad. So
Wow.
then suddenly one day it came to me that the world doesn't need a one-stop solution for social media. They need a one-stop solution for crypto.
Light bulb.
Light bulb, ding ding, right? So I started with all these yellow post-it notes, and I wrote down, okay, this one here you can have. There is things called lending and staking and all of these things. Again, maybe a bit before my time.
Yeah.
I had all of these notes, and then I attended some blockchain 101 meetings here in Singapore. Me and a friend of mine, we were 2 out of 5 people in the room for blockchain 101. So there wasn't
5 people in the room.
Yeah, and in Singapore, right? And it was actually hosted by the now chairman of Access in Singapore, right? So it was early days, and then I decided I need to learn more. So I signed up for a 12-week course with MIT called FinTech, the Future of Commerce.
Right.
And during that course, we were tasked to actually present a business idea.
Okay.
Right? And film ourselves doing an elevator pitch of this. There were 1,200 students in my class. And I actually picked up all my yellow post-it notes of my crypto one-stop solution, right? And I wrote sort of what became the first draft of a white paper. And then I filmed myself pitching this. And I submitted that as my project.
Wow.
And the project scored 100 out of 100 from MIT, from the professors.
MIT, that's really something. Yeah.
So there were 3 projects out of the 1,200 that scored max.
Oh wow.
And mine was one of them. So then I decided I have to put my money where my mouth is. I need to build this, right? Again, out of own pockets, starting to gather a team, hiring people. I got in a couple of other shareholders, a law firm in Singapore, and all of this. Now we are in 2016, still early days. I think the end of 2016, we incorporated a company. We started to build the exchange, went live early 2017, April, I think it was, pretty much at the same time where the Singapore government issued their first consultation paper that would regulate payments that involved cryptocurrency, which no country on the planet had or had started to think of. And I really quickly got involved in this because I think one of the things that led me to go in the regulatory route of crypto was my background from network marketing.
Yeah, I love that.
Because there was a brick wall. There was a brick wall between network marketing community and blockchain community. The blockchain community, they saw absolute everything that had to do with MLM as scam.
Yep.
Okay? And I'm coming there, not a tech guy, but I'm coming there into their community, a crypto community. I'm building an exchange in Singapore, but my background is a background they hate.
Wow.
Everybody is a scammer that comes from MLM in their mind, right?
Then you're crossing cultures just in the business world.
I cross cultures big time. And with that, I also had to make the decision that I had to take the high road.
Okay.
I had to be a front runner when it comes to regulations.
You went Viking, basically.
Yeah, I went completely on the other side of what the crypto community was, because crypto was all about nobody knows how much money you have. You can hide it. You don't have to pay tax on it. It is unregulated. I sent letters to MAS. Is there any license I can apply for? And I got the reply back, you are currently unregulated. Please carry on. Right? From the regulators. So it was insane. But I followed when MAS, when they issue a consultation paper, they actually issue it to the public in Singapore. Okay. Then the public have so and so many months to give feedback. So we gave feedback from the Association of Crypto Enterprises in Singapore, Access. There I attended the roundtable meetings and gave feedback. We gave feedback from the Singapore FinTech Association, where I was also a member. Plus, we gave feedback from my own company as an individual entity, feedback based on the regulations. And this kept on going for 2.5 years until the regulations finally came out. And during that period, I also became a pilot project for a program that was called SPICE. It was a cooperation between Access, which is the Association of Crypto Enterprises, the Banking Association of Crypto, and MAS, which is the National Bank, the regulator.
Wow.
Right? They wanted to do something called a code of conduct for the bank to be able to work with crypto companies.
Right.
The banks and the government was very tricky with this.
I bet
because they were to pick the law firm to write the code of conduct.
Yeah.
Right. And the bill and the bill for writing it had to be paid by the crypto companies, not by the banks and not by the regulator.
Yeah.
So and the bill there was like $120,000.
Wow.
To write up that code of conduct. So the association then reached out to enterprises in Singapore. They were targeting 7 companies to become main sponsors of this bill. And I then took one of them. So I became one of the main sponsors of that bill, which is in place today, right? But I had 7 people hired in my compliance department before I hired my first guy in my marketing department.
Wow.
Right? I spent over the years, I spent over $3 million. We had a burn rate of over $200,000 a month on running the exchange. But I implemented as the first exchange globally mandatory KYC.
Okay.
And that did not go well with crypto traders.
I can imagine in those days, it wouldn't.
We have to think of that crypto was basically created with an anarchist mindset.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Big brother is watching you, no more, right? Here we're going anonymous, we're going decentralized and everything. And there I come in, okay, because I knew that this will come in the future.
You knew it would come, yeah.
I knew, my thinking was that if I implement it now, when the regulations kicks in, the other ones will not be quick enough to turn around to follow the regulation, and I would be the last man standing.
Right.
Right? And now we're seeing it in 2021. Binance closed down Singapore, 26th of October.
Yeah.
Huobi just announced that from February next year, they're closing down Singapore.
Wow.
Right? So if I had stuck with my vision and had deep enough pockets, I could essentially have been the last man standing. But I mean, there is limits to how deep your pockets are.
Oh, definitely.
And when you're paying it, when you're starting to feel the fabric of your socks, when you're dipping into your pockets, you come to a point where it is no longer feasible, because I never managed to get the trading volume that you see in the exchanges today. So we were running minus every single month for 2.5 years. And you can imagine with $150,000, $200,000 per month in burn rates over 2.5 years, that's easily 6-7 million. We did a token sale and raised 3 million, but the remaining 3.5 million came from my own pocket.
So you must have built up in that time and that experience, and I guess even before with the Norwegian sort of oil rigs and stuff that you were doing, incredible resilience, Rune, because one thing I see, and there's no judgment here, we're all on a journey, and I think a journey of personal development. People give up too quick. And in business, there is a time when you've got to say, this is not feasible, this is better utilized somewhere else. But you've got to have resilience, right? I mean, a lot of people just seem to kind of, the first hurdle of anything, you know, they just sort of give up and say, oh, it's not working. And then they move to something else, which inevitably doesn't work either. But you seem to have built up some incredible resilience, right, through these experiences.
But sometimes, Matt, I maybe stick with it too long, right? Okay. Because I sort of feel like the captain, right? The captain goes down with the ship. right? You don't leave women and children behind, right?
It's
And
admirable.
I think that was the downfall for me with the exchange.
Right.
I should have gone out maybe a year and a half earlier and actually tried to onboard external investors instead of carrying it all by myself.
Right.
Because at that time we were still sitting on 4,000 or 5,000 Ethereum, right? And Ethereum was up at over $1,000. So so I wasn't worried at all. I had a war chest of $5 million,
Yeah.
right? But I didn't convert to fiat. I decided I'm going the long run with crypto because crypto is not stopping, right?
Oh yeah.
So then Ether goes from 1,000 down to 800. Now my 5 million becomes 4 million. And I'm saying, no, I'm not selling now. Definitely not selling now, right? From 800, it goes to 600. I'm definitely not selling now because I could have sold at 1,000.
Yeah.
It goes to 400. It goes to 200.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now my 4,000 ETH is only 800,000. And then come November, December 2019. I have a huge bill to pay because I rebuilt my entire platform. I had a bill of $500,000. I had no worries about taking on that cost when I started it because I was sitting on 5 million.
Yeah.
But when the time came to pay that bill, Ether went to $85.
Gosh.
$85. So my 4,000 Ether now was $350,000.
Yeah.
I had
5 million.
I had to sell one of my properties to cover the difference.
So you sold a property instead of your ether?
No, I had to sell all my ETH.
Oh,
I
right.
sold
Okay.
my ETH, but that only brought in 350,000.
Right.
The bill was 500,000.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to sell a property, and then suddenly I had no war chest anymore, no ETH. So how could I cover the monthly burn rates? Right.
Yeah.
So I started looking for investors, for someone to buy me out, to take over the exchange. Right. I wanted my baby to carry on living, even not with its biological father. Right.
Right.
Which should be the right thing to do. And at the end of the day, I managed to exit by having a company not buying the exchange from me, but by taking over the liabilities.
Okay, great.
Right. So
Yeah.
basically, I sold my exchange for them coming in and taking over the costs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And that means I was out. I didn't have an exchange. I burned my war chest. I burned my personal war chest. So tough experience, but that led me back again to network marketing. Right. So and I met a lot of good people in the network, in both worlds, right? In the crypto
Absolutely.
and everything, right? Eric, as we have been on the show, I've known him since 2017. Since I launched my exchange, I listed his token on my exchange. We did a lot of marketing together, etc.
Wow.
So then I went over and did some network marketing. Managed to build up a small war chest in a short time.
Well,
But then that company suddenly stopped paying out. The withdrawals stopped. And Eric was sitting on this fantastic NFT tech, and he saw how fast we could build a network with network marketing, but also how solid the tech was and how well known we both are now in the crypto community. So then sort of that led us to where we are today. So we put our heads together, start to think about it, let me do the network part, let him run the business. So that led us basically to where we are today. So when I started to say initially that it has been a roller coaster, I don't think I overestimated that one.
Well, hats off to you, Rune. I mean, it's definitely been a roller coaster, rich in experience, and experience that money cannot buy. You know, you've got to go through that. And I think at Swap It, we're all very honored to have you as the network director. You know, the last thing we ever want as a network director or as a CEO is somebody that's just made a load of money in network marketing, spent a load of money in network marketing, and thinks because he was the top earner, he suddenly has the muscles to run a company, because we both know where that's going to go. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in network marketing, past numbers is not necessarily replicatable, because
Exactly.
the timing is different. You can be early in a concept that just goes viral, right? It
Yeah.
is the perfect timing. It is the perfect concept. It is the perfect everything. But then if that company crashes or whatever, and you go over to another company, completely different timing, completely different product line, different compensation plan, etc., and suddenly you are coming in there with high demands and everything, you are really up there, and then you simply cannot replicate. You simply cannot replicate, right? But a tip for all those networkers out there is a little bit back to the starting of my story. You need to go beyond your front lines. You need to look for movement. Any slight movement in your team, identify where it comes from, and start connecting directly with them and their upline all the way till it comes back up again to you. And if those in between are not willing to put in the time and the effort to work with those that actually are creating something, then you just have to bypass them all.
Yeah.
You have to take matters into your own hand, and you just have to bypass. Like when I went to Asia, that became $1 billion business in a different company some years later, because I decided to bypass the Danish guy and travel down to Asia and had 0 personally sponsored people there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? My number 1 guy in the next company was in my 7th level or something in what used to be my small leg.
You got to
right?
go deep. You got to go
So,
deep.
you never know. You never know. You need to look for key people. You need to bypass, and also you need to acquire knowledge. During this journey, I have done the fire walk. I walked on glowing coal with Anthony Robbins a couple of times. I said we had Tim Sales with us for a week in the Caribbean. I've been to MLM masterminds every year in Houston and Florida with Art Jonak, Randy Gage, Orrin Woodward, and all the fantastic speakers there, learning a lot. Just suck it in. You need to be a sponge of knowledge.
Yeah.
You need to make yourself a go-to source.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree, Rune, with everything you're saying. Totally agree. And network marketing works all the time for those that give it the time and spend the time in the right way. And it's just modeling, success. The development side is very important. But also what Rune is saying is drilling down, in your network marketing team, the people are the assets. Okay. And what Rune does is he drills down into the gold mine, however deep he can, and he'll find those assets, and then he'll start to work with them and mobilize them. And that's what, and it will happen for everyone. There's nothing special about Rune. There's nothing special. There is, but in terms of networking, there's no bias. If you do the work and you drill down and you follow the methods that are proven and work over time, you'll get the same results.
And you mentioned it earlier on my resilience or my persistence, right? And maybe sometimes I carry on too long, right? But the persistence is very, very important. It's just like, especially now during these 2 years where we have been forced to do our business online, right? On doing Zooms. If you have, for example, someone in the Russian market or Spanish market or Philippine market or whatever, you may be constantly trying to bring them on an English Zoom, right? But they are not comfortable with that language, right? They don't get everything. And maybe the leader himself get it, but he needs to be able to bring their teams on board, right? And they don't get it, right? Because now you are coming down a few levels. They are building locally. It is not the world travelers. Their English is not fluent. It is maybe their second or third language. Exactly. So you need persistency there. You have to set up a call for your market in that language. I did that in my previous company. We had 2 people on the call. we still ran a full business presentation. We did 2 presentations every single day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
It did not matter how many that showed up. If there were 2 people, okay, those 2 deserve a good presentation. Next time, 3 people, they deserve a good presentation. 5 people, 10 people, until we maxed out the room of 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Right? But now you see, okay, we try to do a Zoom in that language, and there come 10 people, and then you don't see the second call being scheduled.
Yeah.
Right? Because people don't see instant results.
That's the key, Rune. People want instant results, but they don't realize it is, and correct me if I'm wrong here, if you keep on doing the input, the output will happen. You know?
Absolutely. And I think a very good metaphor is that everybody, when they join network marketing, they want to build a skyscraper of a team. Right? But if you have ever seen a construction site where they build a skyscraper, they're building for 6 months until they reach ground zero.
Yeah.
They are building 6, 8 stories down. You maybe have 6 floors of car park below the ground with solid pillars. That is called a foundation.
Yeah.
That is only to reach level 0. Now you start building high. But people come into network marketing, they think it is easy. Definition of easy is something you can do. And network marketing is easy because it is something you can do.
Exactly.
Network marketing is for everyone, but everyone is not for network marketing. Right?
Yeah.
So you need to have that mental mindset that you have to be willing. You have to be willing to dig first.
Absolutely.
Right? You have to place those pillars. You have to make your car park. Right? Because your house cannot be crowded if nobody can park.
Yeah.
Right? You need to build 3, 4, 5 floors of car parking, basement, bomb shelter, or whatever. Now people on the outside, they still only see a fence. They only see a construction site.
Yeah.
Right? But have you seen? You can go online and search for the speed click on when they build Burj Khalifa in Dubai.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think the portion that is underground took just as long as everything you see above.
Wow.
Right? And then you can see when it suddenly breaks ground and it starts to build up in height, it starts to go fast.
Wow.
Because now you have a solid foundation. Now it is just flipping up walls, flipping up walls, flipping up walls, and you go high. And that is how you need to build your network marketing business as well. You need to be willing to spend the time and to dig deep and to be resilient. You need to pound it out there. If you decide, you and your partner, I'm going to do a presentation in Finnish. We don't have anyone in Finnish, okay? We have maybe one, and he speaks Finnish, okay? He presents. Then you tell your people, all your people in Sweden, do you know anyone in Finland? Right?
Yeah.
Start tapping into a market. If there is 1 on the call, you do it. If there is 2 on the call, you do it. If 3 on the call, if there comes nobody on the call, okay, then it's okay to hang up after a while. But you just have to keep on pounding. That's the main message.
Yeah, 100%. And just a little trick for people. If you don't know anyone in Finland, go on LinkedIn, do an advanced search, okay? Type in network marketing Finland, and you'll get all the network marketers in Finland that are on LinkedIn. Send them a professional message. It works pretty well. Rune, I want to just kind of finish up really with kind of talking about SwapIt, because we can't do an interview. I personally can't talk for long without talking about SwapIt anyway. But, you know, when I first met you, we were introduced through a mutual friend. And I first met you online in March, I believe, of this year.
Yes, should be
and I joined SwapIt at the beginning of April, or maybe just a day before, or something like that. But started working beginning of April. I was really fed up with the industry of network marketing. I was fed up with all the crypto MLMs out there and all the sort of platforms and 1% a day stuff. And, you know, I'm not knocking it. If it's working for you guys out there, absolutely fine. I'm just talking from my personal experience, okay? And, you know, this guy that introduced me to yourself and Eric, you know, hats off to him, because he must have asked me about 20 times to look at the thing. And I literally looked at it just to get him out of my, you know, he's a great guy, but just in terms of, no, I was just done. I just gone back to coaching, training, doing business deals. And I was just like, no, I don't want to build a team. I don't want to see a binary. I don't want to see anything like that. Right. And then I came on the call and something just clicked on that call. And I was sort of fighting with myself and I was saying, no, I don't want to do MLM. But I really liked you. I really liked Eric. And I remember Sean, because he's a Brit, I kind of resonated with Sean a lot as well. And then Roberto was there as well. And I just thought, the more I looked at it, it was just too good for me to say no to. And then I made a decision and I thought, right, if I'm coming in, I'm coming all in. I'm going to literally 20, 30% coaching. And then I'll just, because you've got to live, right, while you're building a team. And, you know, it's just been phenomenal. Like, honestly speaking, I've been in MLM for about 10 years now. And this is what we've been dreaming about. This is what we've been wanting. This is what we've been shouting at CEOs in the past. I've sat on boards, I've done consultancy. Everything that we see here and a lot more is what we've been wanting for a long, long time. So I just want to get your take on that, Rune, as an experienced networker. Is that just me being very optimistic? I mean, it just seems like you've just bought everything that networkers want, that crypto requires, that works on both sides, and you've put it together. And it just seems that, you know, this is really what people all around the world have been waiting for. How do you see Swap It, Vision? Like, what's your take on that, Rune?
First of all, I have this sense that I don't want to put Swap It directly in the MLM basket, right?
Right.
Because on one side, MLM to me is not necessarily an industry by itself.
Okay.
Right? It is a reward mechanism.
Yeah, very true.
Right? So Herbalife is selling weight loss products. We are dealing with NFT and crypto. How can you put us in the same industry?
Yeah.
Right? That is like a car dealer and a pet shop is both advertising in a newspaper. You don't say that they are in the newspaper business.
Right.
Right? Just because they have chosen the newspaper as their go-to-marketing strategy. So I see Swap It for what it is. It is a tech company. It is sitting on IP on high-tech NFT viewer through Eric and through his contacts. Combine the experience from the crypto and blockchain space. Eric started back in 2014. Around there, people started to ask me about Bitcoin for my other project, but I turned it down. But I went in 2015, right? And Sean and Roberto and Peter also, when you add these years up together, there is not many companies that have more crypto blockchain experience. Because, I mean, after all, Bitcoin was born in 2009. So it's only a 12-year-old industry, right? When you put all that together, I would say we are a tech company, but we have chosen network marketing as our go-to marketing strategy. But of course, when you go out there and you talk to people, and of course, you start to explaining them the plan, they don't see the difference.
Right.
Right. Once you start talking about upper leg and lower leg or right leg and left leg and building a team and stuff, then it is that MLM thing. Right. And they have been there, and we are sort of fighting an uphill battle because there are so many over-promising companies out there.
Yeah.
With compensation plan that breaks, they break and break and break.
Yep.
Right. So many so-called rock stars out there that have done the big numbers, and they're coming to us and asking huge amount of money to join and stuff. And we're saying we're not buying leaders.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, if you build so big in your previous company, where is that company now? Oh, it's gone. Yeah, exactly. They're gone, right? There is no more company. We are not building that way. Maybe they are gone because they paid all their leaders what you are asking.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe we need to get down on the ground, right? Welcome back to planet Earth before we start discussing any deals or anything. So no, I see it bright. I mean, I know Swapit is operated very, very healthy because it is operated DeFi. It is operated as a DeFi company, right?
Yeah.
No big fancy offices around the world, everything, hosting everything. It is very cost friendly, right?
Yeah.
So Swapit is not something that Eric will bury just because it doesn't make him filthy rich, right? Not within 1 year, not within 2 years, not within 5 years or 10, right?
Yeah.
As long as people like to have Swapit around, Swapit will be around, right? It is up to the community, right? If of course, if everybody wants to leave, then there is no business. It is a community driven business, just as Facebook. If there are no users on Facebook, there is no value. No users on Twitter, Twitter has no value.
Exactly.
Same with Swapit. We are building a community. That is what I see. We're building a community. Our product is DeFi, blockchain based. Our go-to-marketing strategy is MLM. Right. So that is the bridge. And I see. I was chatting with someone earlier here today that is not in Swapit at all, and they were just asking me on some like, what am I looking for in crypto and stuff, and what are my sources, and how do we find these coins and stuff. I actually shared the 2-3 last Monday call links from Inside Crypto with them.
Oh wow, what a session!
Right? I said, here we go through Binance Smart Chain and some of the scams and the red flags to look for. The other one, we went through how to read a white paper, what are the red flags to look for, etc. This is what we do. We want to build an educated community, because that has been lacking in network marketing big time, right? Because we know both crypto and network marketing have no entry level, right? It doesn't require any education. It doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter what race you are. Doesn't matter what religion you are. Absolutely no experience needed. Anyone can join, right?
Exactly.
A professor from Harvard can join Amway today if he wants to, right? And a fresh guy out of school can join Huawei. They still start with 2 empty legs, right? Absolutely the same. So there is no barrier, but that also means you are attracting a lot of uneducated people.
Yes, definitely.
Right? And that is a challenge, especially when we have a model that involves tech.
Yes.
That requires some deeper understanding, right? If it is only these pure pump, you just pay $500 and the system pays you $10 every day, right? You don't need to think. You don't even need to know how it works, right? You buy a phone from Apple, it works. You don't need to open it and figure out how it works, right? As long as it works, it's fine, right? So people just go in blindly. And when other people say, yeah, but these doesn't last. Oh, no, they are lasting. I have been in a week and they have paid me every day. Of course, they pay you every day for a week. That's why they grow. They have to pay in the beginning, right? But it requires zero knowledge, and that attracts a lot of people. You have a lot of uneducated people that suddenly get their hands on a lot of money. They don't have a millionaire mindset. Back to Rune model 2004, right? Coming school dropout, started to work with your hands like a floor specialist, and then just come into it. Suddenly there is cruises in the Caribbean, there is convertibles, and money is flowing in, and you think it will never stop.
And it does.
The only way is up, right?
Oh, yeah.
But newsflash, it doesn't, unless it is sustainable, right? And then you need to have a pay plan that is sustainable, not over rewarding, If you know how to break down a compensation plan, there are plans out there that is paying out over 100%.
Yeah.
And for anyone that attended school, you don't even have to attend as a few years as I did to know the maths, that if you pay out over 100%, you are on the highway to bankruptcy, right?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work. So you need to look for a sustainable model, and SWAPIT have that. That is proven already. Some people complain a little bit if the ASAS is 90% instead of 1.0, but that just proves that it works.
We love it. For me, I see the ASAS system, just for the viewers that don't know, in SWAPIT, we have our own bespoke proprietary software, which is basically downgrades the dollar value so that it keeps us, so that the binary will never overpay. And I see it like the airbags in a car. You know, I don't want it to go off, but if it does go off, I'm very, very happy that it does. Because
but actually, Matt, I mean, ideally, for transparency,
yes,
it should be 0.99 every week.
Okay.
Right? Because then you know that you have built it in a way that you trigger the compensation plan to a maximum. We are basically at 80%, right?
Yeah.
Because anything below 80%, it still shows 1.0.
Right.
Right? So maybe in 1 week, there has been a lot of one-leg volume that didn't trigger a lot of payout. So maybe the payout this week was only 60%.
Got it.
Right? So the company actually makes more money. But once it goes to 85% payout, then it triggers the ASAS to take it down to 80, right? So when you see it triggers, that means that it is paying out max.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So it's actually a good thing to see it gets activated. But I mean, we're still young, still small. Could it have gone faster and bigger? Yes, absolutely. I underestimated the complexity of the concepts with tokens, different chains, airdrops, a lot of trainings and stuff. But I think maybe one of the main reasons is that people haven't really gotten that it is the real deal.
Yes.
They are still choosing the get rich, the 2% per day concept, the trading concept, right? Oh, we have AI bots that is trading for you, and we have been in profit every single week for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Guess what? Doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. They are not even trading. It is done purely as a Ponzi. New money in to pay old money out. Right? And if that stops, there is no trading. Then you suddenly will see the excuses that, oh, our trading bots ran with a minus this week.
Yeah.
Right? So it is a wake-up call out there. But I think maybe everybody needs a little bit of a roller coaster ride first. Right? Have their day in the theme park. I've had mine for many years, ups and downs, high life, low life, high life, whole life. So, but at the end of the day, you figured out that it is not worth losing connections over for a quick buck, right? Because if you want to know if you're a leader or not, look over your shoulder. If no one is following, you have a problem, right? Then you're not a leader. And if there is a crowd behind you now, that crowd will be smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until you're alone. If you continue to drag them from a 6 months concept to a 6 months concept to a 6 months concept, because you may be not getting tired of restarting and rebuilding, but they will.
And I think ultimately human beings, in business, out of business, they're looking for a home. They're looking for a long-term home. I mean, when I started in MLM, it was all about one company, one home. And then we kind of got fed up with it because the company kept changing everything. And so we started doing like this multiple companies. You do 4 companies in the same sector. but it never works because your team just duplicate that. You might be doing 4 companies, but the guy 3 levels down is doing 16 companies. He's pitching your level 1s, right? And you just can't get that all in focus. Now, you know, I love income streams, and that's what I love about SwapIt is it gives you all those income streams. I do coaching and training, you know, as I know you do consultancy as well, Rune. I do a little bit of trading. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was just trading Bitcoin. It was pretty cool, but then I stopped that. But I love the fact that SwapIt is a home for those that want a home. And there's a lot of people out there that are going from place to place to place to place, making a bit of cash and then losing out big time and losing connections. And at SwapIt, we really do have a home, even for people that don't want to build a team. So on my phone last night, I got so many messages from people that just love the product. And they were like, man, that Inside Crypto was just wonderful on Monday. They've been watching it again. And Rune knows his stuff. How's he getting on with that falafel? Like, come next Monday, we'll ask him, okay? And they just love it. And then these people are like, I've got to tell my cousin about this. I got a guy in France, I won't mention his name, but he doesn't build a team. But now he's like saying, I've got to tell people about this. And you get that natural, organic kind of growth because quality company, quality product, quality leadership, quality exec team, quality information, and people start to, you know, get that and start to respond accordingly. So I think it will take a little bit of time. I personally, there's a lot of stuff going on, I'm not going to mention it here, but I think we're very, very close to just getting into that 3rd, 4th gear now. I think, you know, we're still in 2nd gear. And I think sometimes, really, like you just said, you've got to just build a foundation, you know, work out the things which we're doing, and then it just moves forward. But at the same time, there's quite a few of us that are doing very well. There's others of us that are getting wonderful coin airdrops every month. We're very, very grateful for that. Parting comments, Rune, what would you like to say to the parting comments? Any advice for anyone? What would you like to say in ending, really?
Yeah, I think first of all, I never seen a networker going on stage or presenting its business, not saying that this will be my last
Right?
Because we all think, because we never join something that we think will fail. Yeah. Right? That is just our mindset. So we have to be honest with that. And it's like a friend of mine said once, he went on stage, he said, every company you have listened to, they say that we have the best compensation plan, we have the best product, we have the management. But guess what? They're all lying, because we have the best compensation plan, we have the best management, that we have the best product, right? So, so now my takeaway there is that you need to understand that you can start for free. You can start for free, right? So there is not necessarily any cost, right? And if you see the value, Matt himself is a coach, right? I've seen him posted his 5-week course now that he's selling for like 2,500 or what it is, right? Education.
A little bit more than that, Rune, but yeah.
Yeah, okay, whatever it is, right? I paid like, I don't even remember how many £1,000 we paid to attend Anthony Robbins.
Yeah.
Right? To walk on the burning coal there. And imagining flying from both Norway and Singapore over to Houston and Florida every year to attend MLM Mastermind. The ticket itself was $1,000, $2,000. Then you need hotels over multiple days. Then you need flights, right? Yeah. That is an investment you're doing in yourself. And I think by just attending the Monday calls, only by attending the Inside Crypto Monday trainings, which, by the way, you're not even required to be a SwapIt member to attend.
Yeah, it's free.
If you have access to the link. But that knowledge that is shared there, not only from myself and Eric and Peter and Sean and Roberto, but external ones that we are bringing in, right? It can be like Gautier from SATT. Right? Eddie Travia in there. And we're bringing more and more people from the industry. That knowledge is worth most likely more than the package you have paid for. So if you take the knowledge and the education you are getting into consideration, it is basically impossible to lose in SwapIt, right? Because you are already in profit just by listening, right? So there is no opening for failure, right? But for those of you that do go out there and try to build a team, right? Become, as I said, become a go-to source. Learn everything, but don't share everything. I think that will be my closing thoughts, because if you sound like an encyclopedia when you are pitching the idea, you are taking up all the jargons, all the buzzwords, you are talking about layer 2 solutions, you are talking about the EIP, Ethereum 2.0 update and stuff. Guess what? Your neighbor that is normally happy coming home from work at 5 p.m. and maybe have a barbecue on a Saturday, he don't know this, and he will feel that I can never learn this. So, and if I have to know this to do this business is not for me.
You've got to dumb
right?
it. You've got to
So
dumb it.
acquire knowledge, but for all the new people that you talk to, don't share that knowledge. Just point them in the right direction. Tell them, I wish I knew more, but we have some fantastic people talking about this on Mondays. Just join the call there and let me know what you think afterwards, right? Share the Vimeo channel, right? Look at some of the videos there. DeFi versus CeFi with Sean Doyle, right?
Yeah.
What is liquidity pool with Roberto? How to set up MetaMask and stuff with Peter. What are NFTs with Eric? SwapIt basic presentation with myself, right?
Yeah.
They're all there, short videos, 4 or 5 minutes. It doesn't take more. So I think the final word there is acquire knowledge, but don't throw it in people's face.
Love it. Rune, really, really want to thank you. I really appreciate you spending the time sharing so generously from your own personal journey in business, in networking, in trading and exchanges, and in crypto. And the crescendo is, this legacy project, which we're also passionate about, called SwapIt, which just creates a level playing field. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again on Monday. I'll probably see you before, but seeing you on Monday for Inside Crypto. And hats off to you. We'll be putting this out on Thursday. I think it's going to be a great tool for everybody, but also to give those people that are in business, some jewels and some principles to kind of build that resilience and move forward. So, Rune, really, really appreciate you. Thank you for serving us all.
My pleasure. It did become sort of a marathon session, but
we needed it to. We needed it to. Thank you so much, Rune.
Thank you very much for having me, and have a wonderful day ahead.
Take care. Same to you. Thank you.
Yes. Bye-bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we've just had an absolute masterclass in business resilience, flexibility, leadership, and strategy. And you've seen that in Rune Evensen's journey throughout, starting in business in Norway, going into networking, to, advising governments on blockchain regulation. An exceptional person. I do invite you all to come on Mondays to the Inside Crypto. It's probably some of the highest level education and empowerment made simple, on the planet, and it's absolutely free. As always, my name is Matt W. Onorona. My time is up, and we want to thank you for yours.